Good evening and welcome to Tsukiji Hongwanji Buddhist Temple's English Dharma service. Please join me in Gassho. Absamanda, 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 Absamanda. Rai, Hai. Thank you for coming to the Sunday English service. We'd also like to extend a warm welcome to those who are watching the service online. First, we would like to begin the service by reciting the aspiration, which can be found on page 1 in the blue service book. For those who are watching online, the chants will be posted on the screen, so please join us from wherever you are.
Aspiration. Reverently, we come before the shrine of our Amida Buddha, the Holy One, the Perfect One. With gratitude, we have brought our offering of love and devotion to honor the Buddha. We earnestly resolve to strive to understand the holy teaching and to walk every day in the blessed path, so that, like the Buddha, may we attain the peace of nirvana.
We will now chant the sutra, Jusege. Please turn to page 3 of the blue service book.
가곤 조생안 이심을 조도 징안프만적 세프조쇼응악 가오무려의 거의 이라이세시ết 사이쇼빔ngết 세프조쇼응악 가시조붓노이 묘쇼조지포이 극교미쇼몸 세프조쇼응악 리욕지쇼냄 저에시법녀이 지금의 저도 이쇼땜닌시 진리기엔다이코이 부처의메사이덧 쇼저 상금요이 고사이슈약난 아이히지에게 메시kop노암 헤이속쇼악도이 드랏zem치몸 거소조의맘독 이여로의집포이 니칭아치유지기 天归恩福言一世界法罪法世功徳法上大修十説法四式有一切物具足修徳本観念秩序満得意三愛用有物無下智自達密不詳願学営力道士最小尊志願約国家大戦を感動北小天人東神妙家ナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブ南にしくどく平等せいさいどほんぼらいしんおじょあんらこNamandavs, Namandavs, 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 Namandav.
We will now recite the three treasures found on page 5 in the Blue Service Book. Congregation, please rise.
The three treasures. Difficult is it to receive a human form. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Dharma of the Buddha. Now we hear it. If we do not cross over to the truth in the present life, in what life shall we cross over? Let us, with sincerity and true reverence, take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we, together with all sentient beings, awaken to the great way of enlightenment and to the unsurpassed intent of Amida Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we, together with all sentient beings, enter the storehouse of the Dharma, becoming like the wisdom ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we, together with all sentient beings, become units in true accord, in harmony with all things. The peerless, profound, and wondrous Dharma is rare to encounter, even in many hundreds and thousands of kalpas. Now we are privileged to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teachings. ナモアミダ仏。ナモアミダ仏。ナモアミダ仏。ナマンダ仏。ナマンダ仏。ナマンダ仏。ナマンダ仏。ナマンダ仏。ナマンダ仏。ナマンダ仏。ナマンダ仏。ナマンダ仏。
Please be seated. For this evening, we are so happy to have Reverend NANJO Ryoei, Resident Minister of Hojuji Temple in Tokyo, as our guest speaker. Reverend NANJO will talk on Amida Buddha's working and Shinjin. I'm glad to introduce Reverend NANJO to you.
Namandats. Namandats. Hello. Good evening. Thank you very much for joining us today's service. Today, I'd like to talk about Amida Buddha's working and Shinjin. First, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Ryoei Nanjo. I was ordained as Shin Buddhist minister in 2006. It's been 19 years since I became a minister. I am currently working at Hojuji Buddhist Temple, located right next to where we are today, the築地本願寺 Buddhist Temple. I was raised here in Tsukiji until high school, and then I moved to Kyoto to pursue my undergraduate degree. I then continued on to my graduate degree in Shin Buddhism at Ryukoku University. During my studies in 2011, I lived in Berkeley, California, as an exchange student, attending the Institute of Buddhist Studies. Come to think of it, that's almost 10 years ago. So how time flies. Now, I am a member of the Tsukiji Honganji's English language Dharma service program. As you can see, I am a very good-looking minister. I'm just joking, sorry. But this is a picture from when I was in Berkeley as an exchange student. People remember me well because of my not-so-Buddhist explosive hairstyle. Anyway, so before we start today's main topic, I would like you to recite Nembutsu along with me. So please put your hands together in Gassho like this. Okay, thank you. Now, please try to repeat after me. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you. Okay, great, perfect. Now, let's repeat that together 3 times. Ready? Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Please bow. Thank you very much for your participation. By reciting the words of Nembutsu, you can feel the presence of Amida Buddha. It's my voice that you hear, but we, Shin Buddhists, understand that Amida Buddha is always with us. When I hear Namo Amida Butsu through your voice or my own voice, when I hear Namo Amida Butsu, we can feel the working of Amida's primal vow anytime, anywhere, that it will not abandon us. So now let me explain our school, Jodo Shinshu, or Shin Buddhism first. Jodo Shinshu is the teaching of Shakyamuni Buddha, as it was handed down through the religious understanding of Shinran Shonin. His teachings revealed that it is essential to listen to the primal vow of Amida Buddha. Guided by his teachings, let me briefly share with you the life of Shinran. Shinran was born into the aristocratic Hino family, a branch of the Fujiwara clan, and his father, Arinori, at one time served at court. At the age of 9, however, Shinran shaved his head in preparation for entering a religious order under the guidance of the Tendai monk, Jien. He began studying at the Tendai temple at Mount Hiei, where he spent 20 years in monastic life. From the familiarity with Buddhist writings apparent in his later works, it is clear that he exerted great effort in his studies during this period. He probably also performed such practices as continuous recitation of the Nembutsu for prolonged history. After 20 years, however, he despaired of ever attaining awakening through such discipline and study. He was also discouraged by the deep corruption that pervaded the mountain monastery. Years earlier, Honen Shonin, who later became the founder of the Jodo sect, had descended Mount Hiei and began teaching a radically new understanding of religious practice. He declared that all self-generated efforts toward enlightenment were tainted by attachments and therefore meaningless. Instead of such practice, one should simply say the Nembutsu, not as contemplative exercise or means of gaining merit, but by way of wholly entrusting oneself to Amida's vow to bring all beings to enlightenment. And this is our teaching that Shinran revealed. Let me read these sentences. Attaining the entrusting heart, awakening to the compassion of Amida Tathagata, through the working of the primal vow, we shall walk the path of life, reciting Amida's name. At the end of life, we will be born in the Pure Land and attain Buddhahood, returning at once to this delusional world to guide people to awakening. So today, I'd like to focus on the phrase, entrusting heart. It's called Shinjin in Japanese. Let me talk about Amida Buddha's working. You can imagine Amida Buddha's statue, the principal object of reverence of Jodo Shinshu. What's called the larger sutra tells us Amida Buddha's story. To explain Amida Buddha to the people of his time, Shakyamuni spoke before a gathering at Vulture's Peak near Rajagahara. He told them of a king who renounced his throne and was given the name Dharmakara. Motivated by deep compassion, he resolved that he would save humanity from suffering. He made 48 vows, promising that he would not become a Buddha until it was possible for all beings to be born in his Pure Land. For an inconceivably long time, he devoted his life to performing the duties of the Bodhisattva until he attained the highest perfect enlightenment. Realizing wisdom and compassion, he became Amida Buddha. By becoming a Buddha, he fulfilled his vows and accomplished the liberation of all humanity. The 18th vow, referred to as the primal vow, is the essential focus of Jodo Shinshu. Upon my attainment of Buddhahood, if the sentient beings in the 10 quarters who have sincerity of heart, with sincere minds entrusting themselves, and wishing to be born in my land, repeating my name, perhaps up to 10 times, would not be born therein, then may I not obtain the great enlightenment. Shakyamuni further reassured people to trust completely in the teaching and to recite the name of Amida Buddha, Namo Amida Butsu, for the great compassion and wisdom of Amida would always be with them. Amida Buddha, then, is the ultimate embodiment of compassion and wisdom. Amida is neither a creative nor a destructive force. Amida is neither forgiving nor judgmental, neither merciful nor vengeful. The polarities that exist in the human condition do not exist in Amida Buddha. Amida Buddha asks for nothing. Amida Buddha simply beckons all to his Pure Land. Amida's vow is therefore an unconditional promise of compassion and liberation. No matter what kind of person I am, Amida enables us to believe in salvation through recitation of Namo Amida Butsu. And Shinran said that how a person is led to salvation is through the entrusting mind, Shinjin. So this is Shinran saying that Shinjin is important. The truly decisive cause is Shinjin. Great Shinjin is the true cause of attaining great nirvana. The true cause of attaining nirvana is Shinjin alone. Oops. Sorry. Okay, so what did Shinran really mean when he said the truly decisive cause? Sorry, my laptop doesn't work. Let me have time. Okay. It means that to be born in Pure Land and obtain enlightenment, we must focus on the working of Amida Buddha. So when the working reaches us, it becomes complete. So you may not realize, but Amida Buddha's working is with us at all times. But what's important is that we believe in the words sent to us. And when we understand the messages from Amida Buddha, it turned into words that resonates. So please look back in your life. I think you remember such a moment. I am sure that you have a lot of experience. Amida Buddha is sending us much more of that kind of messages. But most of us cannot easily capture those moments. But when we say the Nembutsu to open our hearts, we will most likely capture more of those messages. The interesting thing is that the act of us wanting to capture those messages is also the working of Amida Buddha itself. So let's say you have a serious illness and you need a special medicine to save yourself. However, the medicine designed to cure the disease will only be effective if it arrives within your reach. In the same way, Amida Buddha's salvation does not take place in some distant place where we have no contact. Salvation is achieved when it reaches you in the form of hearing the Nembutsu recitation. Namo Amida Butsu is the ultimate embodiment of compassion and wisdom. Shakyamuni further reassured people to trust completely in the teaching and to recite the name of Amida Buddha, Namo Amida Butsu, that the great compassion and wisdom of Amida would always be with them. Let me share with you a poem written by Misuzu Kaneko, a Japanese poet and a songwriter. The poem is called The Sad Times. When I'm feeling sad, strangers don't know. When I'm feeling sad, my friends all laugh. When I'm feeling sad, Mama spoils me. When I'm feeling sad, Buddha feels sad. I would like to focus on the last phrase. When I'm feeling sad, Buddha feels sad. I think that this poem, Misuzu Kaneko had expressed Amida Buddha's great compassion. There was one Jodo Shinshu member in his 90s who had told me something very important. He said, I am over 70 years old now, and I am still alive. I have learned a lot so far. There were days when I had fun, and days when I experienced sadness. But I finally realized that no one can completely understand my feelings, even my family or my wife. They cannot understand completely the depth of my suffering. If so, I am alone. I will never be able to escape the pain and suffering my whole life. But yet, I am actually not alone. Although no one would know my entire feelings, Amida Buddha understands my suffering. When I recite Nembutsu, Amida Buddha is with me. I will never be alone. As you can understand through this episode, Amida Buddha knows our pain and affliction, such as sadness and loneliness, more than anyone. Through listening to the compassionate calling of Amida Buddha and reciting the Nembutsu, I feel the working of Amida Buddha's vow that knows my suffering and would never abandon me. So lastly, I would like to conclude my Dharma message. Jodo Shinshu is the teaching of Shakyamuni Buddha as it was handed down through the religious understanding of Shinran Shonin. His teachings revealed that it is essential to listen to the primal vow of Amida Buddha. The truly decisive cause of entrusting mind, which is called Shinjin, is the core of Jodo Shinshu. Shinjin is the cause to attain Buddhahood. The reason why we were born in the Pure Land and why we can achieve the greatest enlightenment is because of Shinjin. The working of Amida Buddha reaches us in various ways. The most important aspect is the recitation of Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Amida's working turns into Shinjin and spills out as the recitation of Nembutsu. This Shinjin is real because it did not come out of myself, but given to me through the working of Amida Buddha. That inconceivable wish reaches everyone. I wholeheartedly cherish this feeling, so I shared it with you today. Let's keep our antennas high on Amida Buddha's work and live a fulfilling life. Okay, I think I would like to thank all of you for your attendance tonight. I really appreciate for giving this great opportunity. Lastly, please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Bunamanda, 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 Bunamanda.
Thank you very much, Reverend Nanjo. Let us now recite together the Shinshu Creed found on page 1 in the Blue Service Book. Followed will be the recitation of the benediction.
The Shinshu Creed. We single-heartedly take refuge upon Tathagata Amitabha for the enlightenment in the life to come, abstaining from all sundry practices and teachings and giving up the trust in our powerless self. We believe that the assurance of our rebirth comes at the very moment we are led to entrust upon the Buddha, and we call the name Namo Amida Butsu in happiness and thankfulness for his great compassion. We also acknowledge gratefully the benign benevolence of our founder and the succeeding masters who have led us to believe in this profound teaching and we do now endeavor to follow throughout our lives the way laid down for us. Amida Buddha surrounds all men and all forms of life with infinite life and light. Particularly does the Buddha send forth loving thoughts to those in suffering and sorrow, to all those in doubt and ignorance, to all who are striving to attain truth, and to those whose feet are standing close to the great change men call death. Amida Buddha sends forth oceans of wisdom and compassion. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Naman Nabs, 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 Naman.
I would like to thank all of you for attending this evening's service. The next service will be our Hongwanji service, which commemorates Shinran Shonin's memorial, and it will be held on November 27 at 5:30 p.m. at the Kodo Hall. The guest speaker will be Reverend Dr. Kenneth Tanaka, Professor Emeritus of Musashino University, and the topic will be Shinjin is the Satori or awakening in Shin Buddhism. How does it work for us, ordinary people? We apologize that due to COVID-19, we are unable to have fellowship for the time being. We will also not be able to have the dinner reception at next month's service. We ask for your kind understanding and cooperation. Once again, thank you for attending today's service. Please join me in Gassho. Namandabs, 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 namandabs. Rai hai.